So welcome. Today we are making a chocolate eclair cake. So I'm super excited. I'm Sylvia Peterson. I'm in Key Biscayne, Florida. Sasha,
I'm Sasha Walser. I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina.
And this recipe I got after a potluck lunch at an Eastern Airlines work lunch on July 4th. It had to be the late 90s. And so I have it, I want to show you, I have it handwritten out by the person who brought this chocolate eclair cake to the big potluck. And of course I asked her for the recipe, and that's how we used to do recipes back in the day. So I'm just going to quickly run through the ingredients. A chocolate eclair cake is just the same as you would make individual eclairs, but you make it in a large 9x13 glass or baked pan. So basically it is a cake of 3 layers. The first layer has 4 ingredients, and it's a cup of water, a cup of flour, a stick of butter, and 4 beaten eggs. So that's layer number 1, which we'll work on first. Layer number 2 is the pudding layer, and it is 2 boxes of the small instant pudding French vanilla jello. If you've done any desserts with me, you know cream cheese is always in my desserts, and milk. So that layer has 3 ingredients. And then the final layer has 2 ingredients: Cool Whip and Hershey syrup. So that's it. So 3 layers, 4 ingredients for the first layer, 4 ingredients, 3 for the second, and 2 for the last one. So we're going to start by setting our oven at 400 degrees. So bake 400. Start. And 400 degrees. Straight at bake. Okay. So you're going to take a saucepan, and you're going to take a cup of water. Going to turn that on medium, and you're going to take a stick of butter and just toss it in that water. And we're going to let that butter melt gently, right? So I have mine at medium. You don't want it to boil. You don't want it to boil or anything. So while that's doing its thing, go ahead and crack 4 eggs. And I'm going to whip them up. Get them fluffed up. And this time I thought I would show you what I'm doing.
I'm doing the hand version.
You're doing the hand version still?
I am.
You can do the hand version.
The butter melts fast. Is yours already melting?
It's melting, yep, but not.
Whoa.
Mine's still got a little ways to go.
Oh yeah.
So when the butter is completely melted, we're gonna fold in the cup of flour first, and
Can I
then
see
the
what your
eggs.
eggs look like? Okay.
Just
And
a
how-
little bit whipped up. You're gonna whip them up more later.
Okay.
Leave the whisk in there. You'll need it. Just leave it hanging in there. I'm gonna turn mine up a little because my butter is not melting that much. You must have hotter water in North Carolina.
We do. We have hotter everything than in Florida. When the power was out, it was really hot.
The storms passed.
Yeah, I think it might come back later today. I love the storms, but our power's gone out quite a bit, I have to say.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah, that's why I'm hoping with AT&T, we have hotspots, so hopefully that'll. Because it's hard to plan.
Yes, it's a very hard to plan in this connected world.
Yeah, that's right.
And move my flour over. Yeah, so this recipe is a big hit. And again, just like the flan recipe we did a couple weeks ago, this recipe feeds a lot of people and it travels really well. So you could wait to put the chocolate syrup at your destination, but you can have the rest of it completely ready to go. I just like to put the chocolate syrup right before I serve it, so it keeps it pretty versus it sort of starts moving along.
Do you have your Cool Whip out of the refrigerator now?
Yes, but I had mine out of the freezer in my fridge all night long.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna put it back in the fridge because we're not gonna use it for a while.
Okay.
There really is nothing dairy in there anyway. So a question from Dana, could you freeze it or part of it? I don't think so, because the dough, I don't think you can freeze this cake.
Right, because it's not like a key lime pie kind of crust. It's more than a
No.
clay.
Yes, it's somebody said the French word for this is is it choux? There's a French word for this pastry, which is just anything made with water, butter, flour, and eggs. It's a very basic pastry recipe used in all kinds of things. Okay. I just have a fork over here, just getting my butter to melt. I still have a half of my.
Mine's melted, I win.
You melted, then you can go ahead and start pouring your flour in there slowly.
Was it a cup of flour?
A cup of flour, yes.
You put it right in the pot?
Yeah, add flour slowly, right in the pot, yep. And still with the heat on. After we're done with the flour, before we add the eggs, we'll take it off the burner. Okay. So my butter has completely melted, so I just have liquidy water. And so I'm just going to slowly add the flour. So the flour gets all the moisture. So as you get closer and closer to the full cup, you'll see it getting thicker and thicker.
Have you turned off your heat now or no?
I turned it down. So it looks like this, sort of like mashed potato consistency, a little lumpy. Now you can take it off the heat.
So it's okay to keep the lumps in, some of the lumps in there?
Yeah, because as we add the, yeah, you can. What I'm gonna do, I have the electric version. So now I'm gonna I've taken it off the heat, right? Because if you keep it on the heat and you add the eggs, you'll start scrambling the eggs. And we don't want that. So I'm gonna take the eggs, I'm gonna add them in with my favorite tool, the spatula. See, Dana, there's lots of good cooking tools. You know, I know you're a person who has a good respect for the right tool for the right job.
She is.
And I feel that way. You know, I'm an engineer. I've worked in the restaurant industry all of my life, so I'm a big fan of food tools. And so now I'm just going to blend this up. And as I blend this up, it will turn into like a little bit of a paste. It'll be very smooth and kind of a nice dough. So it will look like this. And so it just looks a little bit like spackle. And now I'm just getting it in my pan. The pan doesn't need anything.
It did need to be greased because of the butter, is that why?
Yes, there's enough butter in this. And because of the chemistry of these ingredients, it steams in the oven more than it cooks. And so, of course, I normally have a glass pan. So
And
let's
should
see.
Sorry, should all the lumps be gone now before I put it in, or is it okay?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes. You're in manual mode.
I am. It's good because showing different people doing it differently.
Yes. In case you're Amish and you still have a computer.
Or in case you're me and you don't have whatever that was, a hand blender.
Yes. And do you not have one, or you just haven't found it yet?
Oh, no, I don't have one. I have one of those one-handed ones, but that doesn't work as well for thick things.
Okay.
Clearly, I'll have to get them if we're going to continue this dessert trend. It will make my family happy.
I think mine is like 30 years old. This one is a Black & Decker. Of course it is. If it's a tool I have, it's going to resemble something you would get at Home Depot. So now I'm just spreading it so that it's about this, you know, so it's about as flat as you can get it without just, you know, without too much
So
manipulation.
you're not going up the sides like we did with the flan. You're just
No, I'm going flat because this thing is going to grow. It's going to.
Oh, it is?
Yes, it's going to have some. It's gonna have some growth action in the oven. My oven is ready. I got the beep a little while ago. And then, you know, I like to get stuff off my tools, which somebody needs to invent the tool to get the stuff off the tools. I would buy that if there was a good option, but this works just fine. So I have everything. It's about as flat as it's going to be.
Looking good.
And now it's going to go in the oven. Oh, very pretty.
Thank you. I'm at 400 in just a second.
At 400 for, let's say, 30 minutes. And I'm going to take a few seconds to wash some of this because I'm going to need to wash my blades because I'm going to need them in the next step. So I'm going to soak this first.
Say we're keeping this in the oven.
I'm sorry?
How long is it going to be in the oven?
30 minutes. Okay. While that's soaking, so that's going to bake for 30 minutes. Then it's going to come out and cool. And we'll see how the timing works. But the next step is to soften the cream cheese like we did for flan, which I put in a microwave friendly bowl, which will also mix. I don't like to wash too many things. Typically my husband and I, we've been married almost 30 years, and you know, some of us have shorter tolerances for things. I could let stuff sit in the sink for a little while. He cannot. So if he were here, the magic sink would be in operation and everything that's in the sink now would be clean because that's what he does. So I tell everybody I have a magic sink at home because he cannot stand for anything to be in the sink, which works out beautifully for me.
Is your cream cheese block 12 ounces? It is, isn't it?
It is 8.
Okay.
8 ounces. So I'm just putting that there. I don't like to waste. So there's some cream cheese on here that I will rescue with a knife. I'm a cheese girl and cream cheese counts. So just like we did for flan, this is going into the microwave for 60 seconds at 60% power. And so if you don't know how that works on your microwave, most microwaves operate the same way. You hit cook time first. Cook time, I put 60 seconds. And then you hit the power button, the cook power button.
I have a cream cheese softened button.
Oh, that's good.
That is crazy.
That is good. But yeah, that's good. So cook time 60 seconds, cook time 6. it automatically knows that means 60%, and you start. Now I'm gonna wash my paddles. Get out of there. All righty. Nice and clean and dry. This, I don't know how long I've had this. I know, I'm sure I've had that at least as long as I've been married to Dan, and it still works really well. So mine looks like this. It's nice and melted. Okay, so I always have to make sure. It's 2.5 cups of milk. So I'm going to measure the 1/2 cup because I'll forget. And my cup only goes up to 2. So I'm going to do the 1/2 cup first. 1/2 cup of milk. Because remember, we want to just put a little bit of liquid into this cream cheese to get it very creamy and get rid of all the chunks. So I put the whole 1/2 cup of milk, and now
My cream cheese isn't melted yet.
say again. Say again.
My cream cheese isn't melted yet.
Okay.
So you mix the cream cheese with 1/2 cup of milk, is that correct?
Yeah, I would probably put less. Just a drip of that, because mine is all over the place, and so just a little bit. And then I'm going to measure 2 more cups of milk. And I'm going to pour that in there now that it's all kind of creamy. And then I'm going to open up my Jell-O instant pudding. That goes into recycling. Two of these little boxes. I use French vanilla, but if they don't have French vanilla, you just want to use the vanilla, that works well. Just make sure it's the instant pudding and not the cook and serve. I've made that mistake. So I got this recipe. Say that?
I said, that's one mistake I did not make. I got the right pudding. Sylvia, how much milk in total did you put in?
2.5. after Denise, I don't remember her last name, but Denise, after she gave me this recipe, I made it for my oldest brother's birthday, which is August 5th. He kicks off our August birthdays. I have 4 brothers, and 3 of them were born in August, obviously not in the same year. And so I made this chocolate eclair cake, and it became a hit, which is why I'm making it here for you. I'm only making you sort of my signature dishes, the stuff that everybody asks me to bring to a party. Can you please make the chocolate eclair cake? We also call it cracked cake, and you're gonna find out soon because it's really, really good. So I'm gonna turn this on. So I just thrown everything together.
And no lumps in this, right?
Say again?
No lumps.
No lumps. And as you go, you'll feel it thicken, and it'll continue to thicken when you put it in the fridge. And one of my little tricks is as I come out, I just put this on. So that gets rid of some of the good stuff that's on these paddles. And of course, if you're like me, there's no eggs in this, so feel free to lick them. So good. So I'm gonna get a little spatula. Clean up my edges a little bit, just make sure sort of all incorporated. This gives me something else to lick. And so there you have, this will be the middle layer. You see, Sasha? She can't hear me. She's got blending going on there. So the beauty of this, you can see how fast we just put 2 of the layers together. So what I do is I take this layer, it's ready to go, and I put it in the fridge because I still have 1743 left on my eclair base. So I'm going to put this in the fridge. Yeah. And I'm going to put my milk back in the fridge because I'm in Miami, Florida, although it is the first day of fall. You wouldn't know it here. How's it looking over there? Oh, you have an inverted. Oh, very nice.
Okay, it's in the fridge.
So we can pause here and regroup.
In 17 minutes?
In 17 minutes? Yeah, I'm just gonna pause the recording, but
Yeah.
I'll have this channel open.
Yeah, good.
All right, I'll see you soon. All right, welcome back. Well, there's my timer. I'm gonna check it.
Mine has 45 seconds.
And you want it to be brown, you know, you want it to be golden. Like this is pretty good. Golden brown,
Holy cow, mine's so big.
right? It grew some.
Really, I couldn't put anything on top of mine.
The good news is it'll puff back down as it cools. So now I'm just letting mine cool down. And as it cools, the puff, it should get a little unpuffy.
Oh, good. Because if that doesn't happen,
Oh, yeah.
it looks so good.
Yes, that's beautiful. All right, so we're going to come back in a little bit after. And what Dana did a little research for us, and it was called shoes is the French word. And she was saying that everybody that she saw was hand mixing it the way Sasha was. And if we've offended anybody because I used a mixer, I apologize, but I like
I'm a purist.
ease, and I like things to be easy, and I don't like to break out into sweat very often. All right, we'll be back. See you soon. Okay, welcome back. We are going to assemble our chocolate eclair cake. So, this has been cooling for about 30 minutes. It's just very lightly. Yeah, you saw how it felt, kind of falls back down. It's just a little warm to the touch. Yeah. And then we have our pudding. We have our Cool Whip. And I found this new Hershey syrup that only has 5 ingredients. So I'm pretty excited about that find.
Mine has.
Yeah. So I'm just going to go for it. So basically, you want to just in sections, just kind of place, you don't want to go all the way to the edge. You want to kind of leave an edge to your cake.
It's amazing how quick that pudding.
Yeah, they really mean instant.
They sure do.
So I have almost all of mine out. That's what I love about a spatula. It really works well at getting everything out of the bowl, because you don't want this stuff to go down. We got something.
My cake has a really nice edge.
So there you have it. Those are the first 2 layers. How's yours looking?
It's looking good. It's pretty full.
Probably even. Mine didn't look very even, but it doesn't matter. Yes, finger licking good.
Here's mine.
Oh, pretty. You have a nice edge.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Like I planned that.
Okay, so now the Cool Whip, I use like just a big spoon, and I'll just dollop, 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 you know, kind of close to each other. Later we'll spread it, but you want it to kind of go kind of where it's going to go. So you have some all over the top. And again, we will not go to the edge because you want people to see that it's layers. So now I just sort of spread it so it covers. The idea is it to cover all of the pudding.
And did you use all of your Cool Whip?
I did.
Okay.
And then you can make nice, do whatever you want, you know, there are no rules here. Whatever strikes your fancy. I like to make like a little bit of tracks for where my chocolate syrup's gonna go. So it kind of has a home to go. And the beauty of this is so simple. The ingredients are super easy to find. Nothing. My sister, I have one sister and 4 brothers. My sister, who is a big Food Network watcher. I don't watch Food Network because for work, I have watched people in kitchens making food since 1985. And so it always just feels like too much work. You know how the therapist doesn't want to see any shows where there's therapy involved. I feel the same way. But she substitutes the cream cheese. She puts mascarpone cheese in.
Ooh.
So if you're looking for a little upgrade, certainly that's something you could try. So now, and then you can, you know, you can get fancy chocolate. Ooh, pretty. You are a good student because this is your first time making a chocolate eclair cake.
That's right.
Yeah, so now I'll just show you what I do, but you can do whatever you want. You can be and you can always have this handy for people to add more to it. And that's it. And you can, you know, some people drizzle, you can make whatever design, you can make it fancy or not fancy. Oh, nice on the diagonal, pretty.
Yeah.
All right.
So do you think I should let this cool before I let people eat it?
Yeah, I'd stick it in the fridge for as long as people will let you.
Okay. It won't be long.
It won't be long.
It won't be long.
Whatever they don't eat today, they'll have tomorrow when it's nice and cold, and
It'll be another one of those breakfast, lunch, and dinner desserts.
It will be. It will be. So
well, I love it. Thank you, Sylvia. It is so much fun to cook with you.
Oh, it's my pleasure. My pleasure.
So we'll have to figure out what we're going to have next.
Yes, we're gonna move off desserts. We probably need to move off desserts, and we'll figure out what's next.
Yeah, I know we're gonna bring my husband in for a cocktail.
Oh, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Have a good
you.
evening.
All right, we'll see you later.